So I have said in the thumbnail, this is a great Timex, a desirable Timex, a great watch, a sexy watch. This is quite big statements. This isn't just clickbait. I have said this for good reason. I bought this watch thinking about this review before I even received the watch. I had an idea what I wanted to say, and luckily what I wanted to say is easy because there's lots to discuss with this watch, but it's got some flaws, as you would expect with the Timex, but it's also got some amazing things which I'm going to share with you now. Let's get on with it. So here it is, the Timex Velocity 1971, a reissue of a watch they made in 1971. A few slight differences. I'll cover those first. The bezel on that one was actually a count down one, and I'll go back to that in a bit. This is your regular count up, and then it had the word electric on the dial, whereas this says quartz. Another insane thing you need to know about this watch is, as much as this looks like a dive watch, it is not a dive watch. It only has 50 meters of water resistance. This is actually paying tribute to racing watches of that era. There's no chronograph function. It's more of a fashion piece, if you will, but it's got some functionality. But I think it's just a really fun, playful nod to that era, and it's got some really lovely design features for your £165. So it's something fun and gorgeous, vintage vibes, slightly more modern specification, but not by much, but brand new. It's like finding new old stock, and that's what I think is the thing that makes this so sexy and desirable. It's like finding a very lovely classic watch, but it's brand new, and you got your warranty, and you can just buy it on the internet. A new dang fangled thing they didn't have in the 1970s. So let's get a few key specification things out of the way. Quartz movement. Annoyingly, they say smooth sweep or sweeping seconds hand. It's a complete lie. It's a ticker, as you can see. Silent ticks, not like your usual ticker Timex. I think it's a Miyota movement. The seconds hand, as you can see, is bright orange, and it's meant to replicate a rev counter needle on a sports car. That's cool. But it would have been cooler if it had a VH movement from Seiko that has a smoother sweep, or 4 ticks a second. At least it looked like a slightly lumpy running old sports car. Friction bezel, bi-directional, same as the original, but I think the other flaw that they've gone with this reissue is it's got the dive style bezel, which is count up, rather than, as you can see from this picture, the original had a count down, and that is more appropriate for racing. And this isn't a diver, as I said before. It's got barely any water resistance, and it's just not meant for that purpose. But I'm not going to ever use this bezel for anything other than to fiddle with, so I really don't mind that it's slightly wrong. Silicone strap, tropic style. Can't say tropic because someone owns the patent to that. It's branded hardware, very cool, but this is a strap monster. I'm going to show it to you in a bit on some different straps to show you how versatile this watch is and how wrong they got it with this strap. This is meant to be from this era, of course, 60s and 70s, but more appropriate for dive watches because it's rubber and it's got the holes for breathability and water escaping, not a rally style strap. A rally style strap is more like it's got holes in it and is made of leather or rubber, like this tropical style with holes in it, but it's like a rally style rubber tropical. Timex should have used straps like this because these are more appropriate. I even tried it on a sailcloth. It looks better on that as well, but this is worth more than the watch. But anyway, the point is there's a few little flaws they got wrong, like I said before, like the seconds hand, the strap, the bezel's wrong. But it's gorgeous. That's the thing which makes this desirable. Vintage looks, domed acrylic crystal, giving this watch a final height, including the case back battery hatch of 12.5, but it's not actually that bad. It's more like 11.5 if you don't count the battery hatch, and it's even more skinny if you don't count the crystal. It's like less than 9. So it's an elegant watch. The length, making this very wearable, is just over 41, nearly 42, and then 20mm lug width. And then the case size, they say is 36, and let's see if that's right. No, it's 37, which is a lovely size. It's not as small as you think because of these chunky lugs you get here. Tiny little crown, which is the other thing I must criticise, is it's very small and it's an absolute pig to use. I prefer it was a bigger crown, but you have to really get your fingernails either side of it and give it a firm pull to get it out. But other than that, it shouldn't be something you have to fiddle with too often because it's set and forget. And when you need to do the battery change, it's a very lovely, quick and easy thing. It even tells you before you open it what battery you need. You just need a coin or a blunt knife just to open that up. Nice and easy to pop out every few years. This is what a 37mm watch looks like on a 7¼ wrist man. Literally fits perfectly. It's not too small, not too big. It's so light. Speaking of light, let's see how much it weighs. My old buddy Guy Pass is back. This watch weighs 60 grams, which is bugger all. That's because it's a stainless steel case watch which has a very thin, very cheap quartz movement and a rubber strap and a plastic crystal, which weighs a bit less than glass. So it overall feels comfortable, but not cheap on the wrist. Doesn't feel cheap in your hands either. Lovely finishing on the case back, lovely polishing on the case as well. All very well machined and manufactured. And I couldn't find any flaws. There's no fluff under the crystal here. It's all well put together. Usual slightly dodgy hand alignment with the seconds tick. doesn't hit the markers, as you can see. While we're talking about the markers, they're polished. They've got a very poor amount of lume in there, but there's just enough to make it worth your while. Lovely contrasting white hands, and as a racing watch it's meant to be legible, and you can't get more legible than this with the white against the matte black, the lovely orange ticking seconds hand, very clear and easy to read as a small watch. A lovely gorgeous key detail is this trapezoidal, if that's a word, I think it is, date window, which is paying tribute to the one that was on the original. Love these little design elements, the detail there, and the sector dial with the faint red you get in there. And this checkered flag design paying tribute to the black and white checkered flag you get in motorsport racing. So it's a weird watch. It looks like a diver. It's got that vintage look to it, but it's actually a tribute to racing watches. But it's got a quartz movement. It doesn't have a chronograph. It's got lots of quirky little features to it, but it works because it's just gorgeous, wearable, comfortable, different to what you see everywhere else, and less than £200. I would still put it in the affordable bracket, and you're very likely to get this on discount, but I doubt for a while because these are sold out, and they're sold out for good reason, because I think there's a lot of people out there thinking the same as me. You want it, you just desire it, and that is the thing. This is a desirable Timex, and about blooming time.